All right, so we are planting the next peach tree in line here, and we tested a spot here because it looks really wet, and sure enough it was. I made a big mud ball in my glove, and it's just too wet, and I don't want, most trees don't like having wet feet, so we moved up this way just a little bit. It seems to be a little bit drier here. I think that'll be okay. It doesn't line up exactly as we wanted, but it lines up with our nitrogen fixer, so we're still in the ballpark. But get this dug down and get our next peach in.
And then we're going to add comfrey to all of the trees, right?
As soon as we can get some comfrey, yes. Went to a nursery today and they didn't have any there yet. It'll be in April, but we'd like to get it started because it's all going to be coming out real quick here. And I was told by the neighbors that if we keep our eyes open, we might find arrowheads in here. Said down this lower area there used to be quite a few, so I've always got my eyes open for that. Plenty of rocks. Yeah, this is definitely not Arizona digging.
Arizona, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, we'd be renting a jackhammer to get through it.
Arizona, you'd have to spend several months conditioning the soil before you could even hope to dig like that. And so what we're trying to do is more of a permaculture. We've just started. There is a $25 a month class that you can take. If you go over to Permapastures Farm, they just did a video on a very affordable permaculture design class. It's only $25 a month, so we just signed up for that. There's a lot we still have to learn, but we're trying to follow as much of permaculture as we possibly can right now.
All right. I've never had a tree come in a netting before.
Me either. Where's Katie? Oh, there she is. See, dogs are helping us. Say hi, Katie. And there's Loca Bear.
Decker's on guard.
Decker dog. Say hi.
Oh.
Need me to grab a knife?
I've never, huh?
Need me to grab a knife?
No. And we want to get some more of our native soil around it as quick as we can, so it doesn't spend a lot of time in this hole. All right, and there's our graft point.
And the roots look good?
Roots look very good.
One thing you should always do is thank you, Gardener Scott. Shout out to Gardener Scott, but he said to always look at the roots. That way you can tell if there's any damage, and that way you can let the company know right away if you need a replacement.
Especially when dealing with bare root. This isn't, but all right. The graft point is facing south, so it won't get the western sun, which could be bad for them.
They always say the topsoil is the best soil.
It has all the nutrients in it.
Yes.
I do love peaches. Big fat worm. All right, manure.
Manure.
We've got the topsoil in, and this is our compost. Donkey poop and
Horse manure and
should I put some of this back down?
I would get the mulch. There are benefits to having the creek right here.
Yes, there are. Almost blue.
Oh, it's pretty.
Cool rocks out here.
Hi, Colby. That's our neighbor's dog, Colby. Katie and Colby
They're friends.
They seem to be friends now. Katie came down when I was visiting with them and got out of the pen, and now she wants to visit Colby all the time, so they're buds now.
All right, freshly screened forest mulch over the top of the compost. Yeah, Loki, get over here. No, Loki. Loki's not too sure he's a fan of Colby's yet. All right, so then we'll be putting cardboard down. Yeah, definitely put more mulch on top of the cardboard once we've got the others planted. You know, I always forget my knife, but I actually have it today. So. Don't want it touching here.
Heck, we could actually just put what it came with it on as the mulch for on top of it.
Yeah.
Might as well.
There we go. And now Katie has a sleeping bag.
You're funny. That way it hides the cardboard and allows the cardboard to break down, and the manure and everything else, to the manure and the mulch and everything.
And it regulates the moisture, which
yes,
is the key thing with that. 2 more to plant.
As long as it doesn't rain.
Yeah, well, the rain's coming. It needs to go. They need to go in. So.
All right, we're gonna go plant the 2 plums, and we'll take pictures when we're done, and see you in a bit.
It's going.
Yeah.
Okay, so from the beginning, getting the hole ready for the tree, I just went around it with the shovel. I'm getting that topsoil off, trying to get it all in one spot.
That's where all those beautiful worms are.
Lots of worms, yes, lots of worms. Get back in there, guy. And then we need to make the hole bigger than what you see there with the pot, because once the roots let loose, they need room to stretch out. You don't want them curved in the hole, because if they start curving, they will continue to curve around and just hug themselves and become a great big ball. And when you get a good windstorm, out it comes. Lose your tree after all the work and possibly years, and before you might even get a harvest. And here's our friends. Another way to tell that our dirt isn't too wet right here is we are, right behind Denise there. There's a big wet area that's probably going to become a pond, because where that grass is, it's just sopping wet. There's actually running water. You can see Loki, he's drinking from it right there. That's how wet it is over there. So again, we don't want to get our trees down to where they have wet roots all the time. I think there's got to be another spring. So. Again, I'm just getting loose. I'm trying to get any rocks out of here, because I don't want anything impeding these roots from getting nice and deep and spreading out. Lots of rocks.
But no arrowheads, right?
No arrowheads yet. They said the best time to find them is after it rains, after you've done some work in the area. They seem to just suddenly get up here. Where's a juicy one? Here, Decker. Here. Okay, plenty deep, or it would appear to be plenty deep. Oh, there's an interesting graft. It's actually mushroomed over it, so.
What does that mean?
Well, in my thinking, it was actually a very good graft, because so when you're grafting one tree and you graft the other one in, you get this flat area a lot of times, and that's what we make sure we face to the south so the sun doesn't bake it in the summer. This one looks like it actually formed together, so I would say it's probably a better joint than most of what I see. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, those of you who know, please comment, let me know. So let's get this in here. Let's see what we've got. Oh, okay, that's a whole different root ball than the other one. And you can see they're all around here. I was always taught you need to loosen this stuff up so the roots know that they are no longer in a pot. Start working their way out. I know some people actually take a knife and cut through them. I have never done that. I will loosen them, but it looks pretty good. And I think we were a little bit too deep, so I'm going to need, it's a little. You also don't want that union below ground level. If that gets soaked, you're going to lose your tree. So let's get a little more dirt down in the bottom. All right, get these roots down where we want them.
And we want to get some of that topsoil in, right?
We do want to get some of the topsoil in. And I'm also looking at, since we don't have to worry about the direction of this, Loki, I am looking at the branching of this tree, because we will cut these off to keep them lower and grow
Show
outwards.
like our neighbor's tree over there.
Right over my
That's
shoulder
a
here.
peach tree.
So we want to do that. We want it so that we're able to harvest any peaches, or in this case a plum, more easily. And also, we don't want it growing out over the creek, because then it's going to make it even harder to harvest as well. So we can mow through here and all that. So I'm going to make sure that these are facing this way, and that rain is coming. So let's get some of this topsoil back down in here. And some worms, lots of worms. So I want to leave enough room to get some more mulch and compost in there. Make sure we're good around the base. You know, these trees are all about that base. All right, mulch.
Not mulch.
Compost.
Compost manure.
Compost manure. I knew what I was talking about.
How come we don't just bring that down here?
Because it's right there. I will. Next load, I will. Now, shall we put some mulch on top of this and then the cardboard?
Yes.
All right.
And then more mulch. And then next will be the nitrogen fixer, right?
Yes.
Every how many trees?
Every 3 trees. 3 trees, 3...
So basically every 4th tree should be a nitrogen fixer, right?
Yes. Every 3 desired trees, and then a nitrogen fixer. Don't want to say they're not desired, but they're tend to be thorny.
And then we're also going to be planting comfrey with each one again. They are nitrogen fixers, but they also pick up minerals from the soil and help release it to the plants that are around it. And it's amazing, apparently, at healing cuts. So it's good for the chickens, good for us, good for the plants. So we definitely want to have some comfrey around. Now, why did you do that?
I was trying to throw it up by the other.
Ah.
Yes. All right, let's get a nitrogen fixer. Okay, taking it from the top, we'll introduce all the trees, but I wanted to take a step back because planting the tree was actually the easy part. We needed to plan out where we wanted to do this, and we needed to plan ahead as well. You know, we looked into buying compost and mulch and all those things, and it gets expensive, and you know, the trees aren't cheap either. And you're not going to move out to a homestead and say, oh, well, you know, I turned off my utilities in Phoenix or New York or wherever it is, and come out to a homestead and be like, oh, look, I'm living the cheap, easy life. It doesn't work that way. So, you know, we went and got free donkey manure and composted that and put our food scraps.
Mucked out the stalls.
And mucked out stalls to do it. You know, there's nothing's for free, you know, sweat equity. So we did all that, and you know, we ordered the trees ahead, and like today we realized, oh, we only ordered 1 peach tree. We want more than 1. Our neighbors have peach trees, so we've got the pollination, but we wanted to make sure we had a variety. You know, there's expense in the fencing. If we leave these out for probably a week, the deer will eat them to nothing, down to the nubs, and there's wasted money. So as soon as we're done with this, I've got to go up. We've got some more T-posts. We got some T-posts online. We found on Facebook Marketplace, somebody was getting rid of some fencing, and we went up there and we bought some T-posts from them as well. They weren't free, and we had to go, you know, we drove quite a distance to get them, and the sweat equity and loading them all up, but we also didn't pay full retail price down at the shop and have them delivered. So, you know, we're excited about having the trees. You know, we know this spring, this summer, we're not going to be coming out here and picking a peach or an apple or a plum or cherries off of our tree. You know, we're still going to be buying them at the store, or you know, if neighbors have them. But in the long run, we know that they're going to produce for us, and we're going to be able to pick them fresh. You know, most grocery stores you go to, they're picked very green and they ripen up. And I can honestly tell you, I don't think I've ever had a peach tree from a grocery store that had hardly any flavor. Now, back in Arizona, there were a lot of peach trees. We'd go out and pick those. It was like eating candy. It was amazing, and that's why we wanted more than one peach. But let's go through the trees real quick, and then I'm going to get to caging the rest of these up. But at the top, this is a dwarf black Tartarian sweet cherry. And we put this, because this is the highest point, we did the dwarf here. And then the next one's a semi-dwarf.
And apologize if we're mispronouncing any of these.
Yeah, my pronunciation I'm sure is completely off. This is a Montmorency. Yep, I think that's right. Montmorency pie cherry. That's a semi-dwarf. And going down the hill, our last cherry tree is the Windsor sweet cherry. We got that. Then our nitrogen fixer. As we were saying, keeping with permaculture. 3 trees, nitrogen fixer. Yeah, the nitrogen fixers, we did not have to buy these. We went up in our forest, found some seedlings that were coming up, and dug those up, and hopefully they make it. They seem to be fine.
And what are they?
They're black locusts, which are supposed to be amazing nitrogen fixers. Pull up and put nitrogen back in. And their roots go out far and wide, and they actually intermingle with the other trees and basically give them nitrogen to help them grow. So, thank you, Billy at Permapasture Farms. And then you can see our cardboard, we'll get that covered up as well. I've got to go up and get some more mulch to cover it up to help regulate our moisture. Then the cherry decker. Our first peach, and that's the Red Haven peach. It's a standard sized peach. We will keep that cut off like we were saying, like Larry has next door, so we can harvest them easy. Decker, come here. Then a majestic peach that William over at Permapasture Farms recommended to us at the shop today. And we had not counted on or planned on putting in plums, but we're like, hey, you know what? These are a really good price and they're available, which it's not always the case. So we got 2 Santa Rosa plums. 1, 2, but between them, this is the 3rd tree down. So what have we got? We've got our nitrogen fixer. Again, another black locust from up in our forest. And we'll get that covered up. Our other plum. And I think that's pretty much going to end our orchard on this side of the creek. I don't think we're going to go further down there because we're getting into some really wet areas.
And then next it'll be what trees, hon?
The next trees that will probably come in will be our apples. And we've got 7 apples coming in. We've got 2 Arkansas Black, 2 Granny Smith, 2, I believe, Golden Delicious.
Honey.
Or, only 1 Honeycrisp.
Only 1 Honeycrisp, okay.
So that one I only got 1 because I had 6 other trees already ordered by that point. So
okay.
Those should be in, I would imagine, anytime. I'm not sure where those are going to go. They might go up further up in the pasture. They might go on the other side over here. I don't know if we'll go up that creek line or not because that's going to be a lot of grazing area for us. So.
Yeah. We're going to have livestock down there. We'll have some up over here too, but most of this area will be fenced off. We'll have a little garden up there, and this, the animals can go through, but a lot of this will be pasture land.
This lower area here, above the wet zone, will be 2 different corn plots, and that's where we're also going to put in some squash and I think melons. No?
Pumpkins, yeah. Pumpkin, watermelon, cantaloupe.
There we go. Vining plants will be in the middle.
Yes. And then you also want to put peas or green beans up the stalks, right?
Yeah,
the 3 sisters. Is that what that is?
Yeah, the 3 sister technique, where you've got you start your corn out, and once it gets tall enough, you can plant in vining plants like green beans and peas, and they can grow up the corn stalks. So you get two plants out of that same area. I forgot the 3rd sister. I don't know what goes in with that. I believe it's more of a ground cover that once the corn's up tall enough can grow within the shade, but I would have to get back to you on that one. All right, that's it. We're going to get the cages around this. Thank you for tuning in.
And the rest of the mulch.
Yeah, we still have work to do. We'll put a picture in at the end, but please give us a thumbs up, like us. Thanks for watching. Be good to each other. We'll see you on the next video. God bless.